Esther. Here she is in Ahasuerus's palace. What a place to be. Externally, nothing could be better than that. He was the monarch, the emperor, not the monarch, the emperor over all known civilization of his time. You could imagine what was in his palace. Internally, it was a desert. How'd she deal with it? So we have a few hints. We don't have that much in the text. We have a few hints. One of them involves her serving women. She was assigned 7 serving women, and she named them after the days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, but she didn't use those names. She called them after things that were created on the various days of creation. Light, transcendence, blossoming. Why did she name them at all, and who cares about the name she gave them? So the answer is she gave them names because she wanted to retain memory of when it's Shabbos, and she knew that in the palace it would be hard. You could imagine the midnight parties where nobody really knows when dawn was, when yesterday ended and today began. But she also wanted something else, her belief in people and in the beauty within them that came as a result of her whole early life, her learning to seek goodness in a place of darkness, was so intuitive at that point, like it was knee-jerk. Here's a person, look for what's good. That it was impossible for her to have a relationship with somebody without making them realize their significance as a person and their beauty. What happened to these serving women? In the end, they all converted to Judaism. Was that her intent? No. We're not supposed to make converts, and that certainly wasn't what she was after. But it was her nature. So from that perspective, she could approach any person and find the key to their goodness. The same held true with the eunuch who was in charge of the women. He remembered her and he favored her because she treated him like a human being. But then she encountered evil incarnate, Haman himself. There she would have to do something different. There was no good to discover in Haman. There are some things that are created for us to say no. There's a famous parable in Zohar. There was a king who had a concubine, and this king wanted to give his son a test of valor and told the concubine, who loved him dearly, "Seduce my son." Would the concubine do it? If she truly loved the king and identified with his purposefulness of giving the son a test of valor so he could be recognized as being truly great, she would do it. But what would she want? She would want defeat. She would want him to slap his face and slap her face and say, "Get out of this room." That's what the forces of evil are. They're creations of God. Their purpose is to be defeated, and their joy is their moment of defeat. Esther recognized that her job was not to look for good in Haman, but to defeat him. And she wisely attempted to do so by taking him off his guard, so there wasn't an absolute confrontation because not everybody could stand for that. Making a feast and waiting for the right moment, and saying the words, "Haman hara hazeh," it's this evil Haman who wants to destroy me, as evil always wants to destroy good. The king left in a rage. Haman fell at her feet begging for his life. I want to tell you one of the most decisive moments of Esther's life. She didn't fall for it. We know what he must have said. Things will be different. You didn't understand. I'm a human. No. She recognized that this indeed was somebody whose existence, once he put himself on the sides of those who want to destroy Israel, the Jews, and everything we stand for, was that he have to suffer the consequences of his own choices. Because if you love good, you have to hate evil. If you don't hate evil, it's because you don't love good enough to want to preserve it. We should be able to take this into our own lives and be Esther, who looks for good where it could be found and who's willing to take on evil when there's no other choice.